And we are live. It's so exciting. Hey everyone, I'm Scott Stokely. I forgot that part. Uh, Nobody's in here yet because this is a completely spontaneous, just popping in to say hi to everybody on the interwebs. So I'll be talking to thin air for a minute here. I am in Porbo. Oh, we already got 2 people and 3 people. Oh my God. Or is that 3,000? I think because I have millions of fans that they don't have enough room for all the zeros. So it just says 3, it says 5. I think it means 5,000 people. By the way, in case you're wondering, the reason why I am unshaven is I am looking for a Gillette razor sponsorship. I'm talking to you, Gillette. Just look at all my previous videos and just how incredibly handsome I am. And yet 2 days in the wilderness and I look 15 years older. So if Gillette is listening, or if you know someone at Gillette, imagine how much money you can make with the before and after photos of me. Hello, Joel. Hello, Adam. Hello, everybody else. Hello, KP. Holy cow, 37 people. That's already like a lot of people. The best a man can get. Exactly. Yeah, no, it's really funny. I've got no gray hair on my head, except well, I guess technically this is my head. I got no gray hair on top of my head. All the gray hair is here. Hey. Oh, hey, what's up, Jarno? No problem. Oh, this is the person that I gave the disc to, but you can't repeat the advice I gave you. I have I have a family-friendly channel. But you're welcome for the advice, and it is good advice. I live by it myself. Now everybody's going to wonder, aloha, does that mean you're in Hawaii, Richard? Yeah, this is a random, just pop it in to say hi to everybody. I just finished a training, not even a round. I played like 4 holes, but a training session at a disc golf course in Finland. Tomorrow I'm on a boat for Estonia for the final Euro Tour event of the Euro Tour season. And man, oh man, it's things are going really well out here, everybody. Aside from one bad tournament, which happened to be the biggest one, that was bad timing on my part. But aside from that, I'm shooting like 1,035 or rated golf or something over the remaining Euro Tour events. One bad Euro Tour event, so I'm actually like 1,030 overall, but it's still the best golf I've played in a while. Hey, from Malmo, Sweden. Hello, Francisco. So yeah, I'm really excited about getting to Estonia. So yeah, thank you, Rick. So here's the deal. I haven't done this in a while, so this might be new, but I like to just pop in once in a while, and I need to do more of this because this is the way I connect to all the people that are so supportive of me and just to check in. But also, it's a chance if you have any questions, whether it's disc golf advice or questions about the Euro Tour or career relationships. You might not know this about me, but I'm kind of an expert at relationships. I've had so many of them that at this point, I'm like, I've pretty much mastered it. Not one of those people that is like had one relationship that's gone really well for like 30 years. What do they know? So if you have questions about anything, when am I coming back to Sweden? That's easy. I'm going to be running 2 clinics and an all-Berg championship called the Berg Open. What is it called?
Better.
The Berre. But when is it? It's on the 10th, right? It's at Alla Disc Golf Center. I should probably know this. I think it's on the 10th of September. Go to the Alla Disc Golf Center page. It's a Berg-only event, but I'll be running clinics the day before and the day after. I will be in Sweden. Have I kept up with any of the U.S. tourneys going on? When am I coming back? Okay, so, well, the first one's easy. Yes, of course I've kept up with the U.S. These are all my friends. I actually didn't watch a lot of the Pro Tour before. I was too busy teaching and adventuring and living life and had seen disc golf my whole life. But now that I've become friends with just about every player on tour now, or more than half of them, now I'm enjoying watching because now I'm watching my friends play. So yes, I have kept up, and I think it's going to be It's going to be a great rest of the season out there. As far as when I'm coming back to the U.S., oh, well, the answer is I don't have any plans to at the moment. I'm finishing the European season. I'll give you a quick rundown of my plans. After the tournament in Estonia, I'm running a few clinics in Latvia, Lithuania, Poland. Then I'm going to Romania because I'm going to play a 54,000-foot disc golf hole dressed as Dracula. People think I'm joking about that. When's the last time I said I was going to do something stupid and didn't do it? Of course I'm going to do it. I just got to find a Dracula costume, which I'll be in Transylvania. So if I can't find a Dracula costume in Transylvania, by the way, I don't know if this is a cultural appropriation, if the vampire community is going to get mad at me, but I don't know. I'll live with the consequences. But anyways, I'm going to play that long golf hole. I think we're going to try to hit Bulgaria and Serbia. These are vacation. It's 2 weeks of vacation back to Sweden to run a couple events. And then I got to leave Shenzhen, the main Europe region, because of my visa. I'm applying for an extension in Spain for the championships. But other than that, I'm going to be going to Indonesia to work on a disc golf project. Philippines is the plan to work on a disc golf project. And in the spring, I'm going to be going to India to work on a disc golf project, and then back to the Euro Tour again. So it's going to be a very busy off season. But basically, my passion is bringing disc golf to developing countries around the world, not one course at a time. As awesome as that is, I've got a big picture plan, which I'll be sharing with all of you soon. But if I have my way, with the things we're working on, this is going to be the global game changer for disc golf, to bring disc golf to the 3/4 of the world that doesn't have it. So wish me luck, everybody. If I'm successful, it's going to be the biggest thing to happen to disc golf globally. Let's see. If I throw full power, how far can I get the bird to fly? Me, oh God, 110 meters, maybe 300. That's 360 feet. Maybe not 360, maybe 100, between 100 and 110 meters. So 110 and 120 yards, between 330 and 360. It really depends. The thing about the bird that makes the bird so great is if I throw it hard, it might fly 100 meters. If I throw it really hard, it flies like 103 meters. It has that small margin for error because radical changes in speed do not change the distance very much, which makes the disc very easy to control. That's why it's so great. So, but that would probably be about the maximum. Where would I ride All I White compared to the other courses on tour? I think it is, well, first off, it's every bit as good and high a quality of a course. I mean, the Alla Disc Golf Center is still ranked as one of the top 10 courses in the world, I believe, according to the rankings, and deservedly so. It's amazing. It's quality wise, as far as the challenge of the holes, the variety, the fairness, the testing, all the different skill levels, the elevation changes, everything about that course is A+ championship level. The only thing that I would do that probably would be an unpopular decision is I would add out of bounds, and I would add some other man-made obstacles just to add a little bit more of a penalty for aggression. It's a brilliant course, but it's also a course where you step up and you go, I got to attack this thing. I got to attack it and score. And this is totally subjective because some people love courses like Konopista, which is a great example of the course in the Czech Republic, where you just step up on the first hole. Actually, the first hole you might be a little tentative, but after hole 1, you got to attack the next 17 holes. I personally like courses like the course at Krokol, or the course at Croatia, like the courses where you have to actually step up to a hole and feel anxiety. The European Open was a great example. I mean, if you just attack that course, it's probably going to kick your ass. So I love Ollie Disc Golf Center. It's a championship course in every way. If I would like to make it more penalizing, but plenty of top players would disagree. They would hate me for saying that. But yeah, let's put it this way: it's definitely there are no courses that are better than Ollie Disc Golf Center. There are Ollie Disc Golf Centers in a small group of the best courses in the world, and it's pick 'em. It just becomes apples, tomato and tomato at that point. We need to back at Denmark at the Aalborg Open. I would love to play in Denmark. I was supposed to play in Denmark this year, and then because of the visa issue, I wasn't able to get over there, which is why I went to the UK. Of course, I want to go. I got to play with KJ. I love that guy. And also Yalta. Did I pronounce that right? I'm so bad with names. So sorry, every single person in Europe whose name I've mispronounced. But I've become friends with Yalta. He's actually, in my opinion, he's a world champion in the making. And but cool kid. So I'm looking forward to going back there. Morton.
Can you tap your face or something so it doesn't keep?
Oh, how do I do this? Oh, it's autofocusing on my face. What if
you keep going?
Oh, back and forth. What if I stay perfectly still?
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
No, I can do it. If I go to Vietnam, we will join you and be your guide. It's your lady's first language. Plus, it's been fun watching you over there. Well, I will be going to Vietnam. There's no question I will be in Vietnam. I'll be everywhere. I love. Oh, I see. Oh, I see what's happening now. I saw it happen that time, where it zoomed in and out. No, this winter, the gap between Indonesia and the Philippines, and then at the beginning of the winter and then early spring is India, is open right now. And we're trying to figure out what to do. There's a tournament in Kenya we might go to, but also Vietnam, Laos, and back to Cambodia. We only got to see 5 days of Cambodia. So yeah, I'm looking forward to going to Vietnam and South Korea and China and Taiwan. What's the best food I've tried on the Euro Tour? Oh my God, it's not even close. I'll show you. Oops, I'm gonna make a mess. No, the cheese is no, they're ouch. That's gonna make for some funny video. I just banged my head twice. This, we buy this, what do we buy, about 10 tubes at a time? Looks like toothpaste, but it's cheese. It's from Sweden. Every country in the world is the best at something, and Sweden is #1 at cheese in a tube. I'm absolutely addicted to it. I drove all over Finland because we couldn't find it, which was a complete disaster. I felt like honestly like a drug addict trying to like score, and like all your connections are like on vacation and you're driving around going, oh my God, where am I going to get my fix? Yeah, that was me driving around Finland looking for cheese in a tube. When we finally found it, we bought, how many tubes did we buy last time? 15 or something?
We filled the bottom shelf.
We basically filled the entire bottom shelf of the fridge. And before we go to we're going to go back and get another like 20 tubes before we go to Estonia. I know, I'm so sophisticated. My cheese in a tube is my best food so far.
Tell them about what you ate today.
Oh, what did I tell you? Oh, yeah, we went to all you can eat pickled fish. I don't even like pickled stuff, but we always try to eat the local culture. I mean, when we were in Japan, we ate raw all sorts of different animals, not just fish. We ate all sorts of animals' livers raw. So I'll eat the local food, and so I'm not into the whole pickle thing. But we're in the Nordic countries, and that's a big thing out here. So we went to like a really expensive all-you-can-eat pickled fish buffet, where all it was just tons of maybe like 15 different types of cold pickled fish. I wouldn't say that's my favorite thing, though. I mean, compared to cheese in a tube, not quite there. Hey, Steve, I will be retiring in Finland, where much of my family cousins are. Can we play around sometime? If I'm around, I'd be up for it. I don't know where I'm going to be. Well, I know where I'll be tomorrow, but I don't. But aside from the tournament events, it's pretty. I get around a lot. I'll tell you what, though, Finland is. Look, I love you, Sweden. I love you, Norway. I love you, Denmark. I love you, UK. I love you, America. I love. Don't nobody get mad at me when I say this, but Finland. That this is the best place in the world to play disc golf. At least for like 5 months every year. Maybe not the whole year. Um, there are disc golf courses everywhere, but it is so accepted out here. 20% of people in Finland disc golf. 20%. And among children, basically every single school in Finland has a disc golf course on their campus, or like around their campus. And what is it? I think according to the last survey, well, disc golf was the number one most popular activity for kids to play after school. It was something like 45% of kids polled listed disc golf as their favorite after school pastime. I mean, that's crazy. Like when I was like a kid, like our favorite after school pastime was like going behind the barn and experimenting with cigarettes. Kids in Finland disc golf. That's what they do after school. And it's unbelievable. The like I went to a tournament with a 5,000 person gallery, and probably 2,000 of those 5,000 were kids. Like you've never seen anything like it. Well, you might have seen it on the videos, but it's amazing as it seems. It looks like the PGA Tour. Every time we go, and last time we went into a restaurant, I get recognized everywhere here, right? Pretty much, if I go into a restaurant, like people come up to me, or at the very least, I see them like hit their buddy on their backs and point at me. So yeah, Finland is you're gonna have a good time out here. If you haven't seen the stat, here's my little playing with the statistics for disc golf in Finland. If Denver, and Denver is not that big of a city compared to big cities in the U.S. If Denver had as many courses, disc golf courses per capita as Finland did, Denver would have 1,000 courses. Right? Picture 1,000 courses in Denver. That's almost like a course. Everybody has their own course almost. That's the ratio of disc golf courses to disc golfers in Finland. Hey, one more little thing about Finland. We walked into a Best Buy because we needed to buy. My phone died. Had to buy a phone. We walked into their version of Best Buy. You know how they sell their TVs in Best Buy? You know how they're always playing videos. Like usually it's like some Michael Bay film, some amazing CGI movie, Jurassic Park, that they can show off their HD TVs. No, they were showing disc golf on their television sets. There's a wall of television sets playing disc golf, telling people you need to buy this TV set so you can watch disc golf. Ridiculous. What courses did I play in Tampere? Did I play Tampere? Is that the one by Nokia? Okay, so I just played the Beast. Or rather, the Beast played me. I can't say I played it. It's my only two. I've only had 2 bad rounds on the entire Euro Tour, and they were rounds 2 and round 3 at that course. I even had like a 1035 rated round my first round, so I played good the first round, played well, but yeah, then the course kicked my ass. But when I'm touring and trying to compete, I never ever play rounds of disc golf on the non-tournament courses. I only have so many throws in my arm to practice and train. So for me, if I spend any amount of time playing rounds of golf elsewhere, that takes away from my practice time on the tournament courses. So I'm actually, believe it or not, when I'm like, I don't ever play rounds at other courses. Even this course here today that I stopped at, and I even paid the $8 greens fees in order to play. The only reason I did is I wanted baskets to play at. What I did was I played 4 holes, and the idea was I would throw I had 9 drivers and 9 putters, and I just went and basically threw a lot of shots on 4 holes, but I wasn't playing around. Yeah, that zooming is going in and out. Is there any way to, how do I fix that? No auto zoom. Nope. Okay, I need to stay perfectly still. It's going to annoy people. All right. Did I try out the course in Denmark? No, I never even played any golf in Denmark. I did a clinic up there, north of Copenhagen, with 107 people came out to my clinic. It was, I think it was my biggest clinic turnout, but it was, I didn't play any golf because I only had 1 or 2 days in Denmark, and we went to a place called Christiania. It's basically like this commune in the middle of Copenhagen where everything goes, and they kind of live by their own rules. It's actually this really old school community that just, for the most part says you leave us alone and we'll leave you alone. And although the the police were there doing a raid when we got there, so I guess they don't leave them completely alone. But it's a community within a community. It was just amazing. Andrew Chapman, hello, brother man. Howdy from Kenya. Hello from Kenya. I just got word from John about a tournament there in January, the Kenya Open, that I'm definitely interested in. And the timing is almost right too for me to make it. So that is high on my radar. I basically, because of all the disc golf projects I'm working on in developing countries and also the places I want to go, I have a longer list of things to do than I'm going to be able to do. So I'll have to figure that one out. But yeah, of course I want to go to Africa. Of course I want to go to Tanzania and Kenya. And I want to go to Cameroon with my friend Senga. And I got invited to go to Madagascar, and I want to go everywhere. So I'm interested for sure. So I will know in the next couple months. All right. Tom Friendly. I was the match you played against KJ Hjalte and that really insane finish dude. I forgot his name. Hjalte started with an ace on hole 1. It was insane. Fantastic round. Yeah. He steps up. He steps up to the first hole of the Kona Pista Open and throws a hole in 1. The first hole of the tournament. Unbelievable. Yeah, that was. That I love the course of Kona Pista. It's the length is just. I don't quite throw backhands far enough anymore compared to the people that crush. And so I was just trailing by that 50 to 75 feet on the backhand holes. Sidearm holes, I still throw farther than everyone in the world, but the backhands, I don't. And so I was playing catch up. It felt like every hole I'm throwing a 400-foot approach shot and they're throwing 325. That is not bad course design, mind you. That is my inability to throw the shots that the best players are throwing. So that is not any suggestion that the course is to blame for my inability. I just wasn't throwing backhands far enough. But I'm working on it. I'm only 53. I'm still getting better. If I could have any superpower, what would you choose? Besides disc golf god, can't choose one you already have. How am I going to lay my head down on a pillow when you're making it like this big? Yeah. So, any superpower. I want to be young again. That's not a superpower. Maybe it is. Maybe it's a made-up superpower just to get young again. I'm telling you, this is the truth. I've never been happier. I've never been more successful in my life. I've never been in a better relationship. I've never been having more fun. I've never been more respected. I've never been physically feeling better. Everything about my life is better than it's ever been. And I would trade all of it to be 20 years old again. And there's no way to convey this because I remember being 20 and not listening to anybody who was 50. But if you're 20, just enjoy every second of it. Like, you're never going to be 20 again. And when you're 21, You'll never be 21 again. So that would be my superpower, to be 20 again. I don't even care if I was 20 years old and miserable. I'd rather be 20 years old and miserable than 53 and happy. I want to live forever. Did I see Nicolas win? No, I wasn't. I assumed he was probably the favorite. Laurie has been in the military, and he was also dealing with an injury. He was also obviously a super contender. I mean, look, in Finland, everyone's a contender. Miro's a contender. Obviously, Miro just won the Åland Open. There's probably 50 people in Finland that could have won that tournament. There's so many good players here. But I didn't get to see Nicolas. But he's such a, yeah, I'm a huge Nicolas fan. I have no idea why. Yeah, I see it when it's moving in and out. What can I do to make it not do that? It's probably annoying people. Chris Glenn, come back to Scotland next year. You need to play Bluebell Woods. I have heard, I know I was all over the UK for 6 weeks and didn't play what I heard was the best course in all of the UK. So as of right now, my favorite course is Derek Robbins' course at Quarry Park. But I love the course in Inverness. I should probably know how to pronounce the name of the town I went to. Inverness. I went to Northern Ireland, to the northern part of Northern Ireland, and played a really fun course up there on the campus of something university. But I would like to come back to the UK. Actually, there's a chance we come back to the UK in September. There's an outside chance we're actually coming back. We're not sure. Depends on a project we're working on. By the way, I should mention this. Well, 2 things. I'm looking for a razor sponsor. I'm going to keep growing out gray hair looking like an old man until I get a razor sponsor. So if you're listening, Gillette, you need to sponsor me with razors and cash. Mostly cash. Razors are cheap. Hey, before I go, I see your question, Tom. Before we get there, let me make a pitch. I teach a 6-month disc golf class. It's an online class called Become a Complete Disc Golfer. It is the #1 way in the sport to get better at disc golf, period. This is my life's work teaching disc golf. I have a method of teaching different than anyone else that absolutely positively works. This is not a series of videos and tutorials and instructions. It is an interactive 6 months. You will not only be participating and interacting constantly on Discord. There's live classes, recorded classes, or recorded live stream Q&As. But the biggest thing you're going to be doing is you will be uploading videos of yourself throwing. Without the form reviews coming back, then it's just directional information. And I wasn't even going to do a class if that's all I could do. I figured out a way to do it where you'll upload videos. I have a process where you're going to work on a step. And once you work on that step, you're not moving to the next step until you're uploading videos, being told that you got that stuff right. Because I figured out that you can't do the next step until you have this step right. This is the method I've developed over my lifetime of teaching disc golf. That it's not on YouTube because I can't translate it to YouTube because it involves the back and forth with a professional teacher. I have 3 trainers working for me that are doing the professional form reviews. Look, go to scottstokely.net. It's 6 months. You can pay monthly, $50 a month. I mean, it's not even a lot of money considering the unlimited number of form reviews you're going to be getting. But go check it out. If you want to get better at disc golf, I promise you, it's the thing I'm most proud of in my teaching. So I hope everybody checks that out. Steve, Stretch, yes, join my course and then play better. I mean, well, you will play better. Tom Friendly, and I know you're going to like this one. You were at a mini festival this weekend, and for some reason you took your basket and your birds with me and set them up. Of course, that's wonderful. And by the time you took it down, you played with around 30 people all ages. Disc golf brings people together. It does. It's the greatest sport in the world. I believe with all my heart that this is the greatest sport in the world, which is why my passion is bringing disc golf uh, global. You know, this is why, for instance, um, like I won the, or not one, sorry, I got fifth place at the All-Ind Open. It was $2,000 or 2,000, yeah, $2,000, like 16 or 1,700 euros, but $2,000. And that money I'm waiting to get paid, but when I get that payment, it's going to go straight to Disc Golf Philippines. That's because I want disc golf to grow in the Philippines. I just made a donation to Croatia Disc Golf. I got when PCS pays me, I'll be sending that money to the Paul Macbeth Foundation, who Paul and the foundation are building courses all over the world. Like, this is my passion, my love. I want disc golf to be in every country on earth and popular in every country on earth, not just there. I'm working on it. Give me a little bit of time. I'm going to make it happen. I have a plan. I'll be announcing it soon. I need to come back to Norway and compete at Krokol. Yes, I want to. That's where I got sick, was at Krokol. And I was out for like 9 days. It was really, really bad because I played a practice round on video for with Knut Holland, and like, it's an amazing course. It's probably the course that would give me more anxiety than any other course in the world. I mean, every hole had OB on it, and not only did it have OB on it, every basket was on the side of a hill. So not only can you hit and roll away, or if you miss, it can roll away out of bounds. I mean, like, that course is like, it's the perfect example of a course you need to be mentally tough on, and also play smart. Like, you cannot go onto that course at Krokol, put your foot on the pedal, attack it for 3 rounds and win. Impossible. Like, you have to know when to be conservative on that course. And I love that because it adds an element of the mental game that doesn't exist on many courses. I personally like that. Some people don't like it because they want to see people put their foot on the gas and keep it there, which is totally fine if that's what you like more. But I like it when I like if someone's too aggressive, they're going to pay for it, or at least they risk paying for it. Amarillo disc golf scene is growing. Love to see you out here sometime. I ran a clinic in Amarillo in 2000, I think. So I have been out there. By the way, if you go to my Scott Stokely Adventures page, it's all my non-disc golf stuff. Today we saw the finished version of the Cadillac Ranch. It's the 4th car henge we've been to, with a bunch of cars buried halfway in the ground with their tails sticking up. But just like Amarillo's Cadillac Ranch, which is my first car henge. Go to Scott Stokely Adventures on Facebook. Yeah, so disc golf, I mean, it's going to be in the Olympics soon. That it used to be like, I mean, some of the traditional things that have always been the most important things, like we got to get on ESPN, we got to get on CBS, we got to get a major brand sponsor, we got to get in the Olympics, all those things that were kind of like the goal of disc golf for so many years. Not that they wouldn't be cool, but the world's changed. You know, we don't need to be on CBS. We don't need to be recognized by anybody. We could be the biggest sport in the entire world, and the Olympics might still shun us because it's a big, powerful, financially based organization that, you know, would love to be in the Olympics. Doesn't hurt us if we're not. So now I will tell you this. I am looking into a country, possibly the Republic of Chad, to get dual citizenship, because if it does go into the Olympics, I'm going to be too old to qualify for the American team. So I'm going to piss off all my American friends, and I'm going to come out with the flag for the Republic of Chad. I don't care. If it's in the Olympics, I want to participate. If I have to do it wearing Is there any way to edit this out so all my southern U.S. friends don't stop buying discs from my store? They're going to get so mad at me when they hear that. I don't care. I want to be in the Olympics. I love America, but I want to be in the Olympics. Good job at what I do for our great sport. Thank you. You're very welcome. I love this game. I love the game. I love the people in the game. I love this sport. This is the greatest sport in the world. In fact, if you guys want to hear my little speech on why it's the greatest sport in the world, it's kind of long, but I can make a very compelling case that this is the greatest sport in the world if you give me a minute. And also shoot some more questions. But I want to know if everybody wants to hear the little spiel, because in case you've heard it before, I don't want to have to repeat it. We got to do it. We got one do it. Is that enough for me to do it? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and give you my take on why disc golf is the #1 greatest sport in the entire world and why it will be the biggest sport in the world. And like I said, it's kind of a long. You have to come with me on this little journey here as I explain this, because I'm not going to say to you, because there's nothing more beautiful than the flight of the disc, or Frisbee brings people together, or all these kind of beautiful subjective things that everyone says about every sport. I'm going to give you a reason that we're the best sport in the world and why we'll be the biggest based on cold, sound logic. Ready for this? All right, here we go. So I'm going to start by making the case that golf has been traditionally, at least over the last maybe 100 years, 50 years, the greatest sport in the world, the game of golf. Now, as soon as I say that, people in different countries are saying, whoa, wait, what about football/soccer? What about rugby if you're in New Zealand, right? What about baseball if you're in America? Here's why I would make the case that golf's the greatest sport in the world. Traditionally, players who retire from Major League Baseball, retire from professional rugby circuit, retire as professional soccer/football players. A large percentage of those players take up golf and take it serious. Nobody in the history of the PGA Tour has retired and taken up rugby or taken up baseball. Okay, everything goes one direction. Every athlete and every other sport basically filters towards golf. That's the first reason why golf is the greatest sport in the world. But the second reason is, what percentage of people play golf? I don't even know the exact numbers, but it's actually a pretty high percentage of people that play golf. Who can afford it? Right? Maybe only 5% of people can afford to golf regularly, but of those 5% of people, like 25% of them play. So now you're looking at just over 1% of people play golf, but it's actually 25% of the people that golf is accessible for. So put those two facts in your back pocket if you buy into this idea that golf's the greatest sport in the world based on those criteria. Now, the reason why golf is so popular is an endless list. There's book after book after book published on the beauty of the game of golf, whether it's the personal journey or overcoming obstacles or goal setting or achieving challenges or playing all month for that one good shot or just the sound of the ball on the club that one time that was perfect, going out with friends, getting exercise if you're walking the course, riding around in a cart, having cocktails if that's your social life. But whatever it is, there's all these things that golf has to offer. Disc golf offers every single thing that ball golf offers. So when you move from ball golf to disc golf, you don't lose a single thing that made the game of golf great. However, you gain a number of things. Number one, you're playing on a course that's more environmentally friendly. Number two, you're playing a game that is affordable, right? All you need is a couple Frisbees, take your family out and play. The barrier to entry is really low. You are playing at a much more wide variety of courses. You can play a round of golf in an hour and a half after work. You don't have to set aside your entire Sunday for a 5-hour round of golf. There's things that disc golf offers that ball golf doesn't without losing anything that ball golf offered. So disc golf is everything that's great about golf and more. Now, if that's true, then my original metric of 25% of people that can afford to play ball golf do ball golf. If that's the original metric, well, why wouldn't 25% of people who can afford to disc golf? Once they're exposed to it, once they accept it, once they've tried it, once it's part of the culture. Right now in Finland, 20% of people play. Well, in Finland, everybody's been exposed to it. So the end result is 20% of people play. So there's no reason why this game that is accessible, unlike ball golf, won't be played by 20 or 25% of people on Earth. I mean, doesn't matter what country you live in. We all have the same human things that make us human, that we enjoy out of life, that we get out of life, whether it's social or mental, emotional, physical. Why wouldn't 25% of people out there take to disc golf the way 25% of people take to ball golf among the people that it's accessible to? So as disc golf spreads around the world, and this is my goal, is to bring disc golf global, I believe that we're going to have just as large of a global community. So I see, according to my numbers, more than 1 billion people playing disc golf once we make it accessible to all the places in the world. And that's what my project is over the winter. It has to do with discs and baskets and how we're going to bring those to developing countries affordably. More on that later. So that's my whole spiel. Disc golf is the greatest sport in the world, and it will be the biggest sport on planet Earth. That's it. Love from Denmark and Christianity. I'm signing up. This is the drop. Oh, you're signing up for the class. Beautiful. Yeah, my online disc golf class. You're going to have so much fun, but forget the fun part. You're going to be better at disc golf afterwards. Absolutely. You've been calling it poor man's golf for years. Yeah, it is. Well, so here's the thing. In developing countries, disc golf is ball golf in the West. I mean, disc golf, when you earn $10 a day, a $20 golf disc is basically means that 5% of the population of Africa probably can play disc golf. Basically, disc golf in Africa is ball golf in the US. I'm changing that. And again, I can't tell you exactly what's going on, but I have projects overseas this winter that is going to revolutionize the game worldwide. This is my biggest passion. Red, I once lost my discs and won a tournament with 3 discs. Love to hear you tell that story. I don't want to dispute that story because it sounds like something I would do. I don't recall it, though. I'm not sure that was me. I know that Dan Ginley went to the Can-Am Championships in 1993, I think. 92. He went to the Can-Am Championships and left his discs in his hotel room, borrowed discs the morning of the tournament and won. So I'm going to go ahead and defer that one and say that's a Dan Ginley story. But I like the story, so you can definitely keep telling people I did that. You have my permission. You're 54 with a prosthetic leg, been playing for 30 years, just getting back in form to play soon. Bill, write me back and post in the comments. Is the prosthetic leg something new? Or is it something that is, or have you always had a prosthetic leg and you left and are coming back? Give me a little more background. I want to touch on that because I do adaptive disc golf. There's not just autism. It's also physical adaptive disc golf. Anything we could discuss here related to adaptive disc golf will get shared to people that would be in a similar situation than you. So tell me a little bit more about you. I'd love to touch on that. Do I believe someone can be competitive in local tournaments without bombing 400 to 500 feet off the tee? You've been playing less than a year and got into a later life and average about 340 off the tee. I'm sure your clinic can help. Okay, so first off, I'm going to go ahead and do my sales pitch. Of course, my online class would help. I mean, there's a right and a wrong way to throw. When people say, what is the key to distance? Like I get that on podcasts. What's the one secret to throwing far? It's not one secret to throwing far. You know, there's all these different things that if you don't do, this one's costing you 10 meters. This one's costing you 12 meters. This one's costing you 6 meters. This one's costing you 20 meters. If you do a bunch of things wrong, you don't throw far. But if you're doing most of them right, you throw pretty far. But if you're doing a couple of those things wrong, you're leaving distance on the table your body's capable of. Doing every single thing right in combination is how you maximize how far you can throw, and then practice and training from that point on increases your distance. So of course my online class at scottstokely.net you would throw farther for sure, 100%. Like that, I can guarantee you that. As far as bombing 400 to 500 feet, yeah. So local tournaments, if you're playing in the MPO division, it depends on the courses you're playing. You know, a 400-foot throw can reach all 18 holes at a lot of courses, local courses. So that the answer would be sure, of course, that's far enough. At a championship course, you know, like on the Pro Tour, if you're only throwing 400 feet, you're not competitive. But you don't need to throw 600 feet to be competitive. 500 feet is probably about, 450 to 500 feet. As long as you're throwing that far, you can compete on the Pro Tour, assuming you got all the other skills. So you don't have to throw like Anthony Barella or Simon Lizotte. But it is an advantage, right? I mean, even if they only have an advantage on you on 3 holes, well, then you're playing dead even on 15 holes, but they have the advantage on 3, you play 3 rounds. That means they play 9 holes at an advantage. All things being equal, let's say they make 3 or 4 strokes on you on those 9 holes, but you're equal the rest of the time. Well, then you've lost by 4 strokes solely due to the lack of distance. So, yeah, but we're talking about a whole different ball game there. On local courses, absolutely. If you throw 400 feet, you're fine. Oh, you say it can be competitive without bombing 400 feet. It depends on the course. You go to North Carolina and you're playing in the woods. If you can hit your line in the woods, you can be great at North Carolina golf. But when you get to a big course, you're gonna be in trouble. I mean, if you throw really far but you have a bad finesse game, you're gonna have trouble in North Carolina. So the answer is, yeah, like you got to be able to do everything to compete everywhere. But if you have a limited skill set, as long as you're good at that thing, there are places you can compete for sure. You have to putt no matter what, though. You can't get out of that one. You have a challenging woods course, a diamond in the rough, I'd say. In your opinion, what is the number one thing on a finished wooded course that needs to be taken care of? Challenging wood course. That needs to be taken care of. Do you think, is he saying what? Are you saying like what things do you need to do to make the course better in the woods? I would say the biggest thing that woods courses need to do is to remove as much elements of luck as possible. I mean, every course in the woods has luck. I mean, you hit a tree on the side of the fairway, it's basically coin flip. Does it kick back into the fairway? Does it kick into the woods? And yes, you can have a unlucky round where you hit 7 trees and 6 of them kick into the woods, and your opponent hit 5 trees and 4 of them kick into the fairway. You played a pretty similar round in that they're like 5 strokes ahead of you because of kicks. But in both cases, it happened because you missed the fairway. You want to make sure that you have a course that when you hit the fairway, you're rewarded for it. And that luck will come into play only when you're off the fairway. Like you throw a shot in the woods and then it kicks deep into the woods. You can't really cry about it because it's like, well, you didn't throw a good shot. If you throw a good shot down the middle of the fairway and you hit a tree and kick into the woods, it's kind of annoying. So that's probably the biggest thing. As far as how tight the gaps can be, I think they can generally be really tight. I think most of the wooded courses have gaps that are bigger than they actually need to be. It's like we don't want to make it too challenging by having the gaps too small, but I've seen North Carolina is the best example of this. You can go to a local course in North Carolina and I'm not exaggerating, the 10th best player at a local woods course can hit a line like a DGPT pro, and I'm not exaggerating. On their course, they've developed a skill of hitting lines extremely precise. So that's okay. Just got to keep the trees out of the fairway. Lost your left lower leg 2 years ago from an infection, but still trying to find a stance that works. Yeah. Okay. So, a couple things. First off, please, if you're getting back into the game, post and share about this. I will tell you from my experience that you aren't going to necessarily even hear from this, but the people that are going through the same thing are following you. And they will follow you, and you will inspire people, and you will give people the courage to go out and do things. I actually, I'll tell you a story of there was a player in Ohio, and I've lost touch with him, but I didn't even try to keep touch with him. But he lost his leg below the knee from a motorcycle accident, and I didn't know him, but he told the story. He posted online that he was in and out of consciousness when they took him in the ambulance to the hospital. He's going to be eventually losing his leg in his operation. But he was in and out of consciousness, and apparently, when he was gaining consciousness, all he was saying to the doctor is, "Am I going to be able to disc golf? Am I going to be able to disc golf?" And then he would fade out. He didn't remember this. The doctor told him about this. So, anyways, he loses his leg. He is totally bummed out. By the way, if you search my old Facebook posts under some of these prosthetic or things like that, you're probably going to find, you'll probably find the post and the comments from him, because Facebook keeps everything. So anyways, he's posting about this. And what was amazing to me, because I was doing adaptive disc golf, was that when he made that post, a bunch of people commented, "You need to get a hold of Scott Stokely." Scott Stokely is the expert at adaptive disc golf, which is so flattering to me. But this is what I've been doing, right? So he reaches out to me, and he says that, tells me his story. I talked to him on the phone. So first thing I do is I say, look, let's figure out if anyone else out there is going through this. So I made a post on my page, and this is 6 years ago. I had a fraction of the following I have now. And I'm not exaggerating. 8 people who were missing a leg commented and messaged him. So immediately he was in a club of 9 people that had gone through what he'd gone through, or at least maybe they had always had their leg missing, but he connected to this group of people. They were listening. And then one of the people that reached out was actually a doctor that makes prosthetics that understood disc golf in Florida. I connected the two of them, and they worked together on a prosthetic leg. But the point is there were all these people out there in the same situation. So first thing, please share what you're going through. It will help other people. As far as finding what's going to work for you with your prosthetic leg, God, I don't want to make it sound like I'm trying to sell you something, but when with my class, one of the things that we do is the way we teach. Whether you take my class or not is irrelevant, but the way I teach is there's certain rules you must follow, but there is allowances within my teaching method for individual bodies. Now, this could be because maybe you're overweight, maybe you're shorter, maybe you're a gym rat filled with muscle. Who knows? You're older, younger, male, female, doesn't matter. But there's allowances based on individual body types while following the rules. So if you had a prosthetic leg, nothing would change as far as how I teach the overall method. You still got to do certain things to get the maximum throw, and then allow your body to individualize it in between those steps, which means how much weight can you put on that leg? How fast can you go? And if it's your plant foot, certainly your run up is going to change, because you can't go full speed and drive into the ground, I suspect. And if it's not your plant leg, you can't push off as well with the prosthetic, probably. So either way, your run up is going to change, but the method I teach doesn't change based on that, because your individual body just means that your arm swing is going to change, and your rotation is going to change, and your time is going to change, but all those are allowed within the way I teach. So I would encourage you to go to at least watch my videos. It doesn't have to sign up for the class, but follow those. But yeah, it's you can find a stance that works for you. It's just you have to know what parts of what rules you must follow and where you're allowed to be flexible. What? Oh yeah. That's right. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Go to my Discord server. Go to scottstokely.net. Get on the Discord server. There's a channel there for adaptive disc golf that I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to even grow a community of that. And adaptive disc golf just includes everybody that is having to make modifications to their game somehow. So if you join there and start participating, it'll help build this participation in that area. Thank you so much. I got to remember to do that. Everybody go on Discord. My Discord server, like I'm trying to grow this amazing community of imagine like a supercharged disc golf version of Reddit with no politics or ugly stuff. Dude, I've been crushing it lately. It's really inspiring. You are proof that with hard work, you can still make your mark regardless of age. Thank you and congratulations on all your success. Tom, I appreciate that so much. The thing that's been happening, which I suppose is, that worked. I suppose it's logical that this would happen, but I didn't set out to do this. But it turns out I'm representing an entire community of people out there who are older. I'm 53. I'm turning 54 in a couple of weeks, and I'm fifth place right now on the Euro Tour in the MPO with all these kids that every one of them bombs. They're all great. So I guess it's natural, right? The older audience has connected to me, and at first it was kind of like, wow, that's kind of weird because I don't feel old, but I've come to really embrace it, and now I feel like I'm representing the older community. I am saying, look, y'all, get the fuck off your couch, and you don't have to be on the tour, but you're not, you're 53 years old. It's not time to sit around and watch Netflix and wait to die. You can do something and accomplish things. Just because I'm on the pro tour doesn't mean I'm going to get a win. So I'm not winning on the pro tour. So you can even argue that I'm not out there winning pro tour events at 53. Wow, look at how amazing I am. I'm simply doing the thing I love to do, which could be any level at any sport or any activity. So, yeah, everybody, it's not time to die yet. I don't care if you're 87. It's not time to die yet. You played golf when you were younger. At that time, for me to get started, it cost $800. Now, when I started disc golf, it cost me just under $150. Yeah, it's crazy, right? And you can even start for less. You can buy a couple of used discs and start for less. Now, fair warning, if you're new to disc golf and you're just tuning in for the first time, it's going to be an expensive habit because like any other thing that you're into, you're going to wind up probably spending money on it. You're going to buy new discs and you're going to buy new gear and you're going to buy a bigger bag. And like, that's probably going to happen, but it's optional. You don't have to do those things to play, but if you get into it, sure, you're going to spend some money.
And get good coaching.
Oh, and you're gonna pay for good coaching at scottstokely.net. My 6-month online Become a Complete Disc Golfer course. It's like $50 a month. It's the best thing going in the sport. Oh, I see a question coming up here that just came up, but when we get to it, you're gonna love this. From Tattooed Johnson. Oh, wait, Tattooed Johnson. Is that what I think he means? Like his Johnson's tattooed? Or is his name Dave Johnson? Don't answer, Tattoo Johnson. Let people wonder. What I like about disc golf, you can play with different kind of people with good mood. Disc golf is a good mood sport. It is. Like it's like you're playing with a toy in a park. I would say the only time disc golf isn't fun, unless you're around people that aren't fun. People can suck the life out of a room or a card. But this I always say this about this, and this is God, it sounds like I'm just doing nothing but pitching my class. If you listen to my live streams, that's not my agenda, but it's kind of relevant to what I'm about to say. Again, disc golf, or the game of golf, is the funnest game in the entire world, except when you're sucking. And it's just the most frustrating thing in the entire world. Like, ball golf, traditionally is the most fun and the least fun thing a person does in a week, and those could both take place on the same day. Disc golf's no different. So um, when you get better, it is more fun. When you're hitting your line, the nose isn't going up, and you're getting snap, and you're missing a reasonable amount of putts, not missing a bunch of short putts. Um, when you're doing those things, it is even more fun, though. You were just talking to Snapper Morley, and he's getting back in after his turn his bicep tendon. Yeah, Snapper's one of the greats. Snapper was great in 1975. If you happen to see him, please send him my love. I love Snapper. One of my last double disc court tournaments, maybe my last double disc court tournament I ever, oh no, my next to last one I ever played was I played a big tournament with Snapper Pearson. At the time, it was the biggest double disc court tournament of the year, which is it was the Arizona State Championships. But traditionally, that was the DEC tournament of the year, and me and Snapper actually won, got first place running away. So I love Snapper. Been my friend forever. You're awesome, but you're the outlier. Most mid-50s that play 20 plus years are barely walking. Yeah, but the thing is, everything's about what your goals and expectations are. I mean, I'm an outlier because I've been successful at it, but it doesn't mean that is what success could mean. You learn how to paint with watercolors. Success could mean you start you open up a juice bar. Success could mean you get out of a shitty relationship and find someone that makes you happy. Success could mean like any number of things, quitting your job and finding a job that's better for you, um, bowling and being one of the best at your local bowling league. It doesn't mean you have to be on the world stage. It just means you can't do any of those things sitting on your ass on your couch waiting, for the clock to run out. It doesn't matter what it is. Success could be getting to hike in mountains you've never hiked before. Success could be um, changing jobs and working remotely overseas and getting to experience a new culture. It could mean anything you want it to be. It could mean pulling the trigger and buying the boat you've always wanted because you've always wanted a boat. My success is doing what I'm doing, but it's all identical. It's all like what we want. If you're going after what you want, and you get it, then you're successful. If you're not trying, you're not. Oh, by the way, and I am thinking very, very hard about creating an online club about being in shape and being healthy and fitness and training, not just for disc golf, but in life. And I'm probably going to announce that and do that, because I would say one thing is that I am in the best physical shape I've ever been in my entire life, because I don't have a choice. I'm older. I don't have a choice to be unhealthy. Being unhealthy at 53 is barely walking. Being unhealthy when you're 25, you're still getting around pretty good. An unhealthy 25-year-old, unless they're incredibly unhealthy, is still probably like having a pretty active life. But unhealthy at 53 that is a death sentence. So I want to try to like I'm thinking about how to put that one together, because yeah, it's not easy. At 53, your course last year hurt my right foot in the spring. Now throwing in the field where the grass doesn't let the foot tate. Let's see. Field where the grass doesn't let the foot rotate, reactivates. I recently started throwing barefoot so it doesn't grab. Let's see. Are you in the continuing education? You took the class last year. Can a person sign up for continuing education, come back to it? Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I am trying to sell you something, but I'm trying to sell you something that costs $5. So forgive me on that one. What I do is, if you've taken my class already, my 6-month class, I have something called continuing education, where you can continue to be in the class for $5 a month. which is basically nothing. The only reason it's $5 a month is because it still comes with an unlimited number of form reviews. Okay, that means the $5 basically doesn't really cover the form reviews, but it kind of mitigates the cost of that. The idea is that if someone doesn't get to where they want to get to in 6 months, I don't want to say, too bad, that's what you get, or you need to pay the whole $300 again for the class. That didn't seem fair to me. So you can do $5 a month and then get back in. So if you join the continuing education for the $5 a month, you can start posting videos and let us figure out what's going on. Like if something's happening and you've already signed up for the class, this is basically included. So let us help. Like the trainers and myself know what we're doing. So the idea of throwing barefoot does not sound like the best possible option. It sounds like that's a workaround that maybe we could do something about. So let's do that. Please give us a chance to fix that. Talk about what applies to both sports, like hit for show, putt for dough. From ball golf to disc golf, everything applies to both sports. I mean, it's more like what things don't apply to both sports. Okay, one of them is you're at a country club, which, some country clubs can be kind of elitist. Lots of country clubs are not. Lots of country clubs are very community based. So most country clubs are probably like most disc golf clubs, especially if they're like at a facility like an all disc golf center. That's welcome to everybody. There's not anything really different. It's the same game. The ball goes straight and the disc can curve. There's more variety. There's more things you can do with a disc than a ball. I mean, the most famous line in all of Frisbee, most famous quote is from Stancil Johnson. Stancil said, when a ball dreams, it dreams that it's a Frisbee. So there's more variety. You can do more different things with a flying disc than you can with a ball, but it's the same sport. It really is. Everything from golf applies. My golf library has never been more useful. Yeah, it really truly is. I mean, it's the same game. When I talk about how disc golf's the greatest sport in the world, like I'm not knocking ball golf. I'm paying homage to ball golf by saying the game of golf is the greatest sport in the world. It starts with how great golf is. It's only logical that things evolve, though. So the fact that we've come along and we've taken golf and made it better, mixed martial arts. I'm sorry, I don't want to piss anybody off, but mixed martial arts came along and took boxing and kickboxing and time and made it better. It just added more elements. Like I remember an early Joe Rogan interview on ESPN where it's like, look at Joe's the biggest boxing fan in the world. Boxing's a great sport. We took boxing, but added other things to it without removing all the things that make boxing beautiful. It's not a knock on boxing. It's the sweet science. We just made it better. That's kind of what disc golf has done. We were next to you in a car. Sybil, give us discs. Oh, were you in the car next to us? Oh, are you in the car? Wait. We are in the car next to you. Hello. Oh my God, that's so funny. Haven't had to make any contributions to Autism Charlie because you missed the cut. Awesome seeing you #1 in the Masters ranking. Yeah, isn't that just the most bizarre thing ever? That I'm the top rated MP50 player in the world. And actually, they actually took because I'm 53. I'm also MP40. You're always the division lower. I'm MP40 and I'm NPO. I'm not MP55 or 60, but I am the divisions lower. So actually MP40, which is 13 years younger than me, according to my ranking, I would actually be #2 in MP40. So I'm damn near the top MP40 player in the world, although I'm not on their list. I'm trailing Joe Revere. I'm going to catch Joe, though. That's my goal. Be the top MP40 player in the world at 53 would be ridiculous. What was my very first golf disc? Okay, that's the question I wanted to answer. By the way, Tattoo Johnson is such a funny name. And your name is actually Dave Johnson. I'm just reading way too much into it. Yeah, my first golf disc is a great story because this is a lesson to all the people out there. But I'm gonna like go ahead and do something not very politically correct, and I'm going to address you men. Um, I was 7 years old. My dad died, and my mom would take me to all the local parks in the area. One of them had a frisbee golf course, and I played once in a while. Well, when I was 11 years old, still without a father figure, still without any real male role models at that point in my life, my mom moved right down the street from the course, and now I could play every day. So at 11 years old, I started playing frisbee every day. Now, at the time, this is 1982, all we had were light plastic, like Whammo frisbees. So I was playing with frisbees that my mom bought at the grocery store or that I found in the garage or maybe in my closet underneath my teddy bear or something. I don't know. But I was playing with frisbees. Now, at the time, Whammo had recently introduced frisbee golf frisbees. They took their store frisbees and they added extra weight to them. They added basically phosphorus, which is why the early frisbees glowed in the dark, the midnight flyers. But they added phosphorus to them to make them heavier, to make them better for this new sport of frisbee golf. But I couldn't. I was a little kid. I couldn't afford those. So every day I was playing at the park by myself. Didn't know anybody. All adults. No kids played. And I don't know how long I was playing, a month or two or something. And this dude with like this red hair and this bushy red mustache, which like probably would have been a red flag if in the modern world, but had this big bushy red mustache named Bruce Sisson came up to me and said, "Hey, my name's Bruce Sisson. I'm president of the Oak Grove Gophers Frisbee Golf Club, and I would love for you to be a member. We're going to make you a member of our club, the first like junior member or something like that." And he gave me a couple golf frisbees. And this is really important because I loved playing frisbee every day, but who's to say the next day I wouldn't have made a friend in the neighborhood and started playing tennis, or like anything else could have happened in my life that would not have led me to have this life I had now. But the reason it happened is because a man injected himself into the life of a boy who didn't have a father. And Bruce, along with all the Oak Grove Gophers, became father figures to me. To some degree or another. They're the greatest people I've met my entire life, but they were the men in my life. As a little boy, I needed a man in my life, and I had a great mom, but I didn't have a man in my life. Next thing you know, I had a whole club full of men that I could learn from, and so my first frisbees were also connected to, I think, a very special moment in my life. I mean, who knows what would have happened if that day didn't happen? I might not have joined the club. I might have gotten tired of frisbee golf, started playing with my Atari every day instead. Who knows? But the minute I became part of the club and had real golf frisbees, oh, are you kidding me? You better believe I was back the next day. You're gonna have to convince me that disc golf is fun in super windy conditions. A nightmare for me. Oh, it's going to be a hard one to convince you because super windy conditions are super, super hard and very, very frustrating when you're not really, really good. And when you're really, really good, they're still really hard, but not as hard. I'm not sure that playing in heavy super winds is fun for everybody, or even anybody, or very rarely. Of course, I can, Levi. Come on over. Of course, that's but you have to practice in heavy winds because if you play tournaments, you're gonna sometimes show up at a tournament when it's windy. And if you've avoided practicing on those windy days, good luck playing in the tournament. Yeah, come on over. I'll sign your disc for you. There's someone I'm in the parking lot of the golf course here in Finland, and Levi is the person in the car next to me. You're gonna be on camera though. Remember lightning plastic being more popular than discraft? I don't know that if it was ever. What up? Come on over. But you're going to be on camera. Just so you know, you're going to be on camera. How's it going, man? I give a pen?
Yeah. Oh.
I don't have one handy. Hello. Okay. Hey, real quick, we're gonna do an interview with you on camera. Come here. You can stand right here. How long have you been playing?
Like two,
2 years.
3 years.
And who's your favorite player on tour? And why is it me now? No, I'm sorry. What I meant to say is why is it Nicholas?
I don't speak good English.
Oh, who's your favorite player?
Niklas Alt.
Okay. Of course it's Nicholas. Yeah, I love Nicholas.
Yeah.
One of my favorite too.
I don't have marker.
That's okay. Hello. No marker? We can find a marker. What?
There's one in your bag right there.
Okay, here. Do me a favor. You're in charge. Everybody, this is Levi and
Elias.
Elias. Will you talk to the people on camera?
Yes.
And I'll find a marker.
Hello, YouTube.
Hello, you. Where's the marker in my bag?
How long have you been playing?
Maybe 5 or 4 years.
5 or 4. Did he teach you about it?
Little bit.
Little
Yes.
bit. Is this your favorite course?
This is nice course. I like this course.
Yeah.
We live around this place.
Where
Maybe.
would the marker be? Do you have any idea where a marker is?
Side pocket.
Side pocket. Oh, yeah, of course.
They said hello from the USA.
How many years Stokely has played?
How many years?
Yes.
He started playing in 1976. So probably twice as old as your dad.
Yes.
I'm gonna find it. Are you sure?
It's one. If it's not on the side that you're looking at, it's on the other side.
We're gonna find it.
What are the top 5 candies in Finland?
By the way, the reason I can't find it is because I have this beautiful Flex bag that sponsors me that has so many pockets in it
And you just got it, so you don't know where anything is.
that I don't know where anything. I didn't put anything in there. It's not my fault. What are the top 5 candies in Finland?
Maybe chocolate crisp.
Chocolate.
It's named.
Okay.
Ah,
Aha.
oh, that's
Aha. It's named Aha.
Okay.
It's my favorite. And,
Okay.
and we have Turkish pepper.
Turkish pepper.
All the Fatsers.
And what?
Fatser.
Farser?
Fatser is like a
Fatser.
brand that makes.
Okay.
They
Okay.
make good candies.
Do you like black licorice?
Yes.
Yes. I do too. It's the only place
You
I
know you're in
like it.
Finland when people eat black licorice on purpose. No one.
Best ever.
It is the best ever here.
Like I said, you know you're in Finland. Hello from Texas. And who are these 2 guys? These are the 2 top up-and-coming players in all of Finland. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not here.
No find. Let's see. Is it?
America.
Let me see. Side pocket of the car. You guys have to keep talking to them. I got maybe one back here. We'll find it.
In the duffel bag?
How much people is in the?
Right now there's 43. But it's on Facebook and on YouTube, so.
Okay. How long have you been in Finland?
We got to Finland for the European Open, so about 2.5 weeks.
When are you leaving?
Tomorrow,
Okay.
on the ferry to Estonia.
Yeah.
Found a marker.
I did. I found a marker. And who's your favorite player?
Niklas.
Niklas scored.
He won today.
He did.
Finnish champion.
Somebody said, "What's your favorite Finnish metal band?"
I don't know. I don't listen anymore.
Not metal bands. Regards from Denmark. Are you guys hockey fans?
Yes,
Is that your team? That's Detroit Tigers.
that's yes.
I recognize that. I'm
that
from
Detroit?
Michigan.
She's from Michigan?
Yeah,
This is Carolina Hurricanes.
Carolina Hurricane.
Okay, right on. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much. That is so funny. That's awesome. Thank you. Too cool, right? This is Finland in a nutshell. All right, so where were we? I was about to say something profound and life changing.
Lightning discs.
Oh, about lightning discs. Why are they bigger? I don't know. I don't think lightning discs were ever bigger than Discraft. They certainly had a following. They had a following in Texas for sure because they were out of Texas. I knew Steve Howell. Well, back then everybody knew everybody. So I don't think they were actually more popular. It depends on the region that they were in. But Lightning made good discs for the time. Steve Howell was one of the early pioneers of making flying discs for disc golf. So I wish he would get more credit for what he did. He sponsored 1 million tournaments and a ton of players. So, by the way, if you want to shoot any questions non-disc golf related, I'm an expert at everything in life. I'm telling you, career, relationships. I was about to say politics. We don't touch politics. No politics on my channel ever. I'm an expert at it, but I talk about it with the camera off. But if you have questions about anything, shoot them over. That story about you playing with 3 discs, said your bag had nothing but 3 discs and licorice. Oh, okay. Licorice. God, it's kind of coming back to me. Oh my God, I'm having memories of this, but I can't quite place it. I can tell you a story similar to that with the licorice, though. When I came back to the sport after a 13-year break, I was actually started playing in the open division, and I ended up winning 7 tournaments in a row in the open division. No big ones, but like B tiers, C tiers, even an A tier. But I won like 7 tournaments in a row. And I was like 46 years old at the time, and everybody was like 20 that I'm competing against, of course. And so it was really annoying to the kids that I was beating them. Now it's probably less annoying. I've been around, but I've been gone for like 13 years. So like they're like, who is this guy? And now he's beating us. So what I did was, because they were already so annoyed that an old person was beating them, I started carrying a bag of powdered donuts and like a liter of Coke in my golf bag, because so I would, as I was playing, I would be like, anybody want a powdered donut? Drinking Coke, like, just to make it just completely ridiculous that the old guy was beating him while eating powdered donuts. I barely ate the donuts. I actually had like power bars and like, water, but I was pretending like I was eating powdered donuts on the course. Anyways, as I'm telling the story, that was way funnier to me than it probably was to anybody else.
We only played with like 3 discs the whole time we were in Asia.
The whole time I was in Asia, I only played with 3 discs. Yeah, I didn't even have any discs in Asia when I won all those tournaments. Because I left all my discs I left them in Singapore, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I traveled around Asia with a backpack, and I still won a couple tournaments, like basically with a couple discs. But you don't need that many discs. The thing is, okay, so I grew up and played for so many years when we had so few golf discs that you had to learn the skill of manipulating the flight of the disc with your angles and your speed and your nose of the disc. And players that came around later, once there were discs that did everything, I'm not suggesting that they're not better or worse than the players of the old days. It's just a different skill because you had discs that did everything. So you had a much more narrow skill set. Like right now today, I mean, if you give me a Felon and a Force and a Harp and a Berg and a putter, like I'll play I don't think I'd barely shoot any worse than I do now. Actually, that's mostly what I play with. I kind of just listed all the discs I play with. No, I still use the Assassin.
Welcome to Scott Stokely in the back.
The Assassin, the Lutz, the Stall, the Baobab. I still use all those discs. I use Marvel and Wizard, but so shoot some non-disc golf questions up here. Let me dazzle you with my old man wisdom. What is my training routine? So yeah, first off, when it comes to physical training, the thing that, okay, please nobody be offended. I'm only going to speak for myself here. So if you're offended, well, too bad. I was raised in the 70s. You're not supposed to get offended at stuff. But I'm going to be honest because I'm always honest. My training routine, my first and foremost, it comes with me not being fat. I, after years of being skinny when I was younger, when I got older, if I didn't eat right, I would put on weight like that. I never got huge, but I could be 20 or 30 or 40 pounds heavier than I am now. At 6'7", you might not look at me and go, "Oh my God, that guy's huge." I was fat to me. And so more important than strength training, more important than stretching, drinking water, vitamins, anything is not carrying the extra weight. That trumps everything, hands down, as far as being in shape. Once that was not an issue, then after that, it was build muscle. And that's basically resistance training, lifting weights. That is what I would do, what I've been doing now for 2 years, diligently in the off season, diligently preparing to go on tour, less while I'm touring, but lifting weights. There is no exercise for disc golf. You use so many different muscles when you play, especially with sidearm and backhand. I don't see any benefit to focusing on one, disc golf. Oh, you got to work on your lats or the triceps or no, you just got to work on everything. So it's full body strength. It's 50% machine weights, which is where I can hit the heaviest possible weights for the most muscle mass gain. But it's also 50% free weights because I also want to make sure that I have the all the stabilization required, because it's not about building muscles to look good, it's about functionality. So it starts with carrying as little body fat as possible, followed by building my body stronger. That is number one and number two. And then other than that, my training routine is basically I throw as much as I'm physically able to, which is way less than I would like to. But I throw as many drives as I can. I throw as many putts as my body will let me. That answer is vague, but that answer is 5 years ago it was more. 5 years from now it'll be less. But in both cases, I'm doing what I'm able to do. Got to take care of your body, though. When you get older, please. Hey, Riley Manderscheid. Hello, Riley. Thank you, Riley. It's kind of neat. All right, you're the true inspiration to older huckers. Thank you so much. Love watching you compete with the young cats. Playing since 70s. Nice. 65 and feeling strong. Went pro after 2 AM wins so I can play and learn from stronger players. Congratulations. That's awesome. 65 and going pro. Beautiful. And you got to play in the 70s. That's even more fun. Like we have experiences that you're never going to get again if you start today in a country where they disc golf. If you go to a country where disc golf is new, you're going to get some of those experiences that we got to enjoy. Look, the sport of disc golf has never been better than it is right now, and it'll be even better next year. This is the best of sports it's ever been. This is not like, I'm never going to be that old person that says, "Oh, it was better back in my day." That's the biggest load. Of course it wasn't better back in my day. Of course the sport's better now. But I liked it better back in my day. I loved when we were just outcasts and misfits and we were this like small community. Like I loved it while trying to grow the sport and share it with the masses. But like I wouldn't trade the time I grew up for anything in the entire world. Playing in the well, not really the 70s, mostly the 80s and the 90s. There's nothing that'll ever be like that again in our sport. It was very special. So Mike, you probably remember. So proud of you, Scott. You've come a long way, my friend. I know, man. Yeah, Riley and I both, we used to party a lot when we were younger. That's an understatement. 40 years ago. But yeah, it's been, I've had the most interesting, weirdest, exciting life ever. One of the funny things about it, though, like I wrote my book, Scott Stokely, Growing Up Disc Golf, which is my autobiography up until the year 2000 or 2001 when I took my 13-year break. You can get the book or the audiobook read by me at Amazon. So the funny thing about it was when I met Adriana, like my book was out. And so she immediately read my book and she's like, "That's really cool. I don't believe a word of it." Well, she did not believe it, but she's like, "Come on. this is like, those stories are too outrageous in the book. There's no way these things happened, or at the very least, right? You thought I was exaggerating.
Yeah.
You certainly thought I was exaggerating. And since then, over the past 3.5 years we've been touring together, she's basically met every person in the book and has confirmed that, yeah, that's exactly what happened. Like, I didn't even have to exaggerate. My life has been just so weird but interesting. And I'm also I'm working on the next book now. It'll cover the next 22 years. Let's see. I'd pay my way to caddy for you for a disc golf trip of a lifetime. Actually, I am. I don't want to announce anything yet.
Got
But
a mailing list.
yeah, get on the mailing list. Go to scottstokely.net, get on the mailing list. I am putting together some ideas of some week-long disc golf retreats. They're not going to be cheap. They're going to be somewhere in the world that's cool. They're not, I do a lot of stuff that's free and accessible for everybody. This is going to be a small group of people that are going to pay the money to go meet up somewhere in the world and do like a intensive, like week-long disc golf, seminar, learning to get better at disc golf. And it's going to be someplace where there's fun courses. It's also going to be someplace where we're going to get to see like beautiful historical things. Like if we're in Cambodia, we'll go to Angkor. Like, it's going to be like a vacation, but intensive disc golf training. So get on my mailing list and you'll be the first to hear about it. You see what Riley said?
I'm a believer now.
Yeah, she's. Yeah, go ahead and post that. Let's see. Who do I attribute the quote, "Great way to ruin a good walk"? Oh, okay. Who do I attribute the quote, "Great way to ruin a good walk"? They're probably referring to the game of golf, saying "great way to ruin a good walk." I'm going to guess George Carlin. It sounds like it because he kind of turned into this like really bitter, angry guy. So Skip Santa Maria, tell me if that was George Carlin. I bet it was. There were less than 60 custom stamped Stokely Assassins made for those to pick you to win the skins match. I have one. So you picked me to win the big skins match last year? That was stupid. Why would you pick me? I was playing against Calvin Heimberg and Simon Lizotte and Brody Smith, for crying out loud. How foolish was that to pick me to win that thing? By the way, if anybody's interested, it's a documentary about not just the skins match. It's called Not Just a Shot. If you go to notjustashot.com, you can download the documentary. It's the best disc golf content I've ever seen. I didn't make it, by the way. I'm not bragging about something I did. Kendrew Mueller made it, and it's so good. It's an hour-long documentary you can download. It's fantastic. Called Not Just a Shot. Notjustashot.com. What is the meaning of life? Why won't you at least challenge me, people? You're pitching softballs to me. This is so easy. So the meaning of life is to be happy. But to have a paradigm where others' happiness brings you happiness. So the idea is that you should go through life being the most selfish person in the entire world, and everything should be about making you happy. Okay? But the things that make you happy should be the satisfaction of taking care of your family. It should be helping build the community. It should be being a positive role model. It should be giving to others. It should be giving back. It should be appreciative. But all of these things should be done for purely selfish reasons because they should make you happy. Pickle media. So the idea is being happy, but the goal should be to make yourself happy. Just find the right things that make you happy. Making you happy shouldn't be harming others for your own gain. Making you happy should not be putting down others to raise your status or lowering people to where you are because they're successful. It shouldn't be harming others. If that makes you happy, then you need to reevaluate the way you think. How much does ape index reach actually matter to throwing far? It matters. Of course it matters. You know, all things being equal, I'm 6'7". If somebody 6'3" throws identical to me, I throw a little bit farther because I'm taller. There's no question that's the case. But that's only part of the question. The question is, does it make you a better disc golfer? Absolutely not. Is it an advantage to throw a little bit farther? Of course it is. Paul Macbeth throws really, really far, though, and he's not tall at all. He's Paul Macbeth. You have so many different things you have to be good at, and the power that you can have not being tall can be good enough to be to be the best in the world. So the answer is you only have to be tall enough. It's kind of like the question in the NBA. Is being taller an advantage? Yes. Does that mean that the tallest people are the best? Of course not. Absolutely not. We know that's the case. But except for a few outliers, if you're shorter, you're going to have a harder time than someone who is taller. So being taller is an advantage. So you got to be a certain tallness, probably, to compete at the highest level. But once you've got that kind of baseline, it doesn't seem to matter as much. You got to have the baseline though. So anyways, that doesn't mean you can't, but this is disc golf. You can be 5'3" and throw 150 meters with proper technique, and 150 meters is more than enough to compete on the pro tour. So yeah, it matters, but it doesn't mean you can't compete if you're not. Expert in everything. I make a ham and cheese sandwich. Does the cheese go under or on top of the ham? It goes on both sides of the ham when I stick it in a toaster. Stop pitching me softballs, people. These are so easy. By the way, you want to know the real answer? Right here. Ham and cheese in a tube. So the actual answer is you don't have to choose. You just squeeze it on the bread. Or in my case, on the raw broccoli or with the other stuff without carbohydrates, because I'm not allowed to eat carbohydrates anymore.
Oh, he said it was Lee Trevino.
What?
The quote.
Oh, is it Lee Trevino? Really? Lee Trevino said golf, I'm assuming he's talking about golf ruins a nice walk. That's so funny. I'm going to go, it still sounds like I'm going to go with George Carlin still, even though Lee Trevino said it. Doesn't it sound like George Carlin? Like, I remember George Carlin when I was younger, and it's like, I know he's considered one of the top 5 stand-up comics of all time, and I know he did revolutionary stuff. If you watch his early stuff, it's like, it seems pretty revolutionary, but I would say the majority of that man's career, like, he just sounded bitter. He just sounded like a really unpleasant dude. like my favorite comedian right now, and he's been my favorite for a while, hands down, Bill Burr. Bill Burr smashes it on every front. I can watch Bill Burr on Conan O'Brien being interviewed by Conan on a loop and enjoy it every time. And Bill Burr has that same pissed off, angry thing, but it doesn't come across bitter like the way George Carlin does. My next few stops. Yeah, no, I'm going to be, my last Euro Tour event of the year is next weekend, or this coming weekend, actually, in Estonia. And then I'm running clinics in Estonia, Lithuania, Latvia, and Poland. And then I'm heading to Romania to play a 54,000 foot hole dressed as Dracula So we're going to go to Serbia and Bulgaria just to see them, and then I'm going back to run some events in Sweden, and then I'm not sure what I'm doing for a month, but then hopefully if I get this extension, we have 3 championship tournaments in Spain. The Euro Tour and the European Pro Tour championships are both there, plus another event. Other than that, that's the most, as far as tournaments go. I'm not sure what else I'm playing this year. I mean, I'm sure I'll find some, like if I'm in Asia, if there's a tournament somewhere, I'll probably go to it, but that's it. What was my favorite show in the 70s? All in the Family, of course. No, I was too young to appreciate that. You were also born in 69. When's your birthday? Mine's August 29th. Favorite show in the 70s. So my favorite show growing up, well, it wasn't a 70s show, but my favorite show as a kid was Tom and Jerry, of course. The most violent show in the history of television. Like I cannot believe I'm not violent with as much fun as I had. Like I wanted him to murder Jerry every episode. I was one of those assholes that was rooting for Tom. Like I got so pissed off that Jerry kept getting away. I was like, cat's got to eat. So that was probably my favorite show in the 70s. Probably. Cat's got to eat. Why is it impossible to throw the disc flat? I always do something with my wrist that I turn the disc so that the disc is flat towards my chest in the power pocket. It is not impossible to throw the disc flat. I'm going to try to sell you something here. Forgive me, furry to fantastic, which is either related to like dogs or furries. one of those. Either one's fine, by the way. It's 2023, whatever you're into. There's never one thing on the throwing. My 6-month online Become a Complete Disc Golfer class, the one thing we don't do and the one thing I don't do with my teaching is that I don't put out fires. Most of the time, simply trying to correct something that is wrong doesn't work. And I just saw Riley mention Bugs Bunny. I'm going to give a Bugs Bunny reference because it's the best reference there is. I think it was Elmer Fudd and Bugs Bunny hit him over the head with a giant mallet because back in the old days, you could hit people in the head with mallets and it was considered funny. No one got triggered because their dad hit him with a mallet 40 years ago, right? It's like giant mallets are funny. So there's this one episode where Bugs Bunny hits, I think it's Elmer Fudd, but he hits him in the head and a bump goes, pops out of his head. And then when Elmer Fudd puts his hand on the bump to push it down, as he's pushing it down, another bump pops up. And so whenever he's pushing a bump, another bump pops up. And that is the best analogy for what happens when you try to fix something on a throw. Because once you modify something on a throw to put that fire out, you're automatically modifying something else, likely for the worse. And it's a big reason why simply trying to fix things is not that effective. Like I don't know, hundreds of people that sign up for my class that are just blown away by how much it helps them, have taken private lessons where they've, someone's been like, yeah, you need to turn your hips sooner, or you need to drop your shoulder more. And it's like, they may fix the problem they were trying to fix, but their game didn't get better. You have to do everything right. This is why my method in my online class starts everybody from ground zero. I don't care. Tell me you've been playing 30 years. Cool. You're starting at ground zero, just like everybody else. We are building your throw step by step from the basics up. And when you do that, we put everything together. You don't move to the next stage until you get this stage right, which you're going to find out because you're going to be uploading an unlimited number of form reviews to be reviewed. And then when you get to move to the next step, you're going to add layer. You're going to get it right, layer. And this is the process I've built over a lifetime of doing this that ends with you now have your throw and it's all correct. Throwing the disc flat is one of the 4 core things we need to be able to do on your fundamental throw. You need to hit your line. You need to have it come out without wobble. It needs to be able to come out without the nose up, and it needs to come out with snap. Now, you're still going to modify speed, angle, other things. You're going to learn how to play in the wind and situation, strategy, like all these other things. But line, flat, no wobble, and snap. Those are the absolute fundamental core things. You must be able to do those 4 things before you even move on to anything else. Good news is everybody can do them with the class. Hello, Scott. What's your favorite course to play in Finland? It was a pleasure to meet at the European Open, and I got a couple of your bergs. Oh, cool. Well, first off, thank you for spending money with me. My favorite type of people are the people that spend money with me. Okay, maybe that's not entirely true, but sure like you. My favorite course in Finland. Oh, God. I mean, I've only played a couple. I played the Åland Open course, and I played the Nokia course. I think I would have to say I loved Åland Island. It was so good and so much fun. But I think the course in Nokia, I give a little tick better, higher, just because it was a little tick harder. There was only one really bad hole, which was hole 11, because there was the pond hole. There was just kind of a luck hole. No one liked it. That's the only bad hole in the entire course. All the guy had to do is move the basket back 40 meters, and then it becomes a placement shot to a par 4. Perfect. But I think that's the Nokia course, the beast. It was so hard. It kicked my ass. I shouldn't like the courses that kick my ass, but I actually kind of do. I've been playing so well. That's the first course that just whooped me. Only 2 rounds. The first round, I killed it out there, and it was it was teasing me the whole time. It let me think I was better than I was. Can you lose weight with disc golf? So yes. So join my mailing list. Go to scottstokely.net. I'm going to announce this. We're going to be doing this online fitness thing together. I don't want to get too far down the rabbit hole now. The answer is, of course, anything you do that's active is going to be better for you. Yes, simply going out and walking disc golf courses will absolutely positively burn calories. However, the vast majority of weight loss has nothing to do with exercise. Go ahead and get pissed off of me, every personal trainer and gym owner out there. But the reality is, it's about a calorie deficit. That's it. Whatever you burn in calories, you also could reduce the calories simply by not intaking those calories to begin with. And this is about a round of disc golf, by the way. It's a Diet Coke, 0 sugar. But a can of Coke, a round of disc golf is great, but don't have that Coke, you're also going to be doing the same thing. So yes, disc golf is great exercise. It's great for you. I'm not suggesting exercise is bad. I even said it's the part of how I train to have a stronger body. But when it comes strictly to weight loss, that's going to take place in the kitchen. I mean, the majority of it just is. Is there another book in the making? Yes, there is another book in the making. I actually was recording audio for it as recently as this morning. And it's going to be the next 20 some odd years. I plan on my life, my autobiography being a trilogy. So I just did A New Hope. Right now I'm working on Empire Strikes Back, which, just like the Star Wars trilogy, is the most cerebral, less fun episode of the 3. It's the more serious one, but it'll probably be the best one. So I'm working on it. Let's see. Hey, Scott. Love everything you do for the sport. Any chances to still meet you in Finland? If you're at the ferry station tomorrow, when I get on the ferry for Estonia. No, we're heading out tomorrow, and I actually have meetings. I have 3 meetings in the morning in Helsinki before I get on the ferry, so probably not. But I'll be back. Ever play brackets bluff in North Carolina? Coolest course you ever played? Picked you because I'm an old guy too. Oh, okay. So I think all the people that picked me are over the age of 50 for the skins match. I have not played brackets bluff. Thank you for picking me, by the way. Have you seen Jake Wolf's sidearm? Opinions on it. He is one of the smoothest sidearm throwers I've seen. He throws felons 500 feet on a hyzer. So first off, I'm the biggest Jake Wolf fan. As a person, and as a human being, he's incredible. And his rise to disc golf touring player is, I'm not sure if there's ever been a faster one. Um, one of the biggest compliments I ever got from Jake Wolf, because his sidearm is a monster. And I got a witness here. Adriana, back me up on this story. Remember at Northwoods Black?
Yeah.
So he has this bombing, crushing sidearm last year on the Pro Tour. And we go to Northwoods Black, this monster. Oh, it was the most difficult course on tour. It's a woods course, but it is a monster long course in the woods. I think 2 overs 1,000 rated out there. And Jake tells me before the round, this is when I first met him, he says, I'm really excited to play with you. Everybody has been telling me about you because they think I have the best sidearm in the world, and you know but they want to see how I do against you, and and very fun. I mean, like I said, we're friends, and everything about this was with love. But he tells me, he's like, we're gonna see who's got the sidearm today, right? And so we played around in Northwoods Black. He was bombing these sidearms, and every time he bombed one of his sidearms, I pushed mine about 20 feet past, right? And finally, at the end of the round, he says, well, I got to throw against your sidearm, and I bow. He actually literally bowed to me. I thought that was what a compliment from such a nice guy with such a great shot. So I love Jake. And it's, I'm hanging on to my last days where I get to be that guy. What do I think of Rasmus? Okay, let me tell you about Rasmus. This is the first time I've ever done this before. When I saw Rasmus throwing sidearm at Nokia, I'm going to sum up Rasmus in one 10-second story. We were at Skellefteå, warming up at Skellefteå, and I saw him throwing his sidearm, and I walked up to him, I introduced myself, and I said to him very sheepishly, I know this is going to sound weird, but can I please videotape you? I want slow motion of you throwing sidearm. So that's what I think of Rasmus. I watched his sidearm and was just mesmerized by it. I would love to throw head to head against him, because people are saying the same thing. They're like, Rasmus throws sidearm farther than you. And my take on that is the way it's always going to be, which is, no, he's not. Of course he's not. Now, that doesn't mean he's not. It means the competitive part of me is not willing to let that go. And if he throws farther than me, I'll shake his hand and tell everybody he throws farther than me. But I want to go heads up against him, because I still, in my opinion, I still don't believe anyone in the world throws a sidearm farther than me. And when someone does, I will have no problem conceding it. But so far, no one's gone up against me. All right. Disc golf travel Finland sounds amazing. As it's accepted by the entire country. Keep living your best life. Your son is 14-year-old and sponsored. We've come so far. You're a rock star in Finland. That's cool, man. Keep going, man. That's awesome. And if as long as your kid keeps loving the game, keep supporting him in it. And like there's so many opportunities out there, and not just for players that are on the tour. That's always going to be like any sport. A small number of people are going to make it as competing athletes. But if you love the game, you can always make it as a in the business of disc golf. So whatever level he gets to, if he gets to be a 1050 touring champion, great, he's going to be set. But if he gets to be a 1010 rated fringe of the Pro Tour level, that's not a failure, because that is a level where he can teach, he can be a course pro. He can do YouTube content. He can be designing courses. He could be repping and promoting clothing lines, bag companies, like working for testing discs for manufacturers, starting a company. Like, there's so many things that he can pursue as a disc golf career. Don't get wired to this idea that the only measure of career success is like winning tournaments. And if he wins them, cool, hats off to him. But there's a lot of good players out there, and only a few of them are going to be, Calvin and Gannon. But if he loves the game, he can have a career in the game. That's what I'm trying to say. Having a career in something you love is a win. What was it like winning the Skins Challenge last year? It was that was the greatest. It was the greatest accomplishment for me because I had worked so hard, and just to have that moment and being able to give $11,000 to Hope for Autism was really, really, really neat. But it was, yeah. And by the way, there's a documentary called Not Just a Shot, all about everything that led up to that. I mean, it's a long story that led up to that. NotJustAshot.com is the best disc golf documentary I've ever seen. It's so good. I didn't make it. I'm not, by the way, I don't even get any money off the documentary. Like, it's going to the person that made it. It was basically me 2 years before, 984 rated, saying, I think I can compete with these guys again. And then putting the word out publicly that I'm going to go compete on the pro tour, and the anxiety over, I could look like an idiot here. I could look like such the fool because it would be so easy to just basically start training and seeing if I'm going to get better or not, but I was like, that's not an interesting story. Succeed or fail, this is going to be a great story I'm going to tell. And so I put the word out there, but with that came all the fear of like failing. And, my rating, from that point, 984 is 1,014 right now. And it's about to jump up close to 1,020 on this next rating because I've been playing so well. But I didn't know that was going to happen. I thought it was going to happen. That thinking it's going to happen doesn't mean shit, right? Like, who knows? I'm 53. Easily could have not happened. So all the fear and anxiety, and then getting invited to the skins match. Well, why not Paul? Why not Ricky? Why not all these other people? Why me? Why am I the one being invited? Does he belong out there? And just so much came together of this. Like, I get to show everybody that I belong, and that was all it is I didn't think about, I swear to God, I did not think about winning the skins match before I started. I thought about, please don't get skunked, go out there, win 3-4 skins, just show you belong. It's a fictional story, but if you remember from the movie Rocky, Rocky didn't win in Rocky 1. Rocky knew he couldn't win in Rocky 1. Rocky said to Adrian the night before the fight, I can't beat him. And when she tries to argue, he's like, no, Adrian, like, he's the champ. I can't beat this guy. I just want to go the distance. I just want to show everybody that I'm not just a bum from the neighborhood. And the thing that's what made the story so good. If he had won the championship in Rocky 1, it's a movie trope. What was so great is that his goals had nothing to do with winning. It was about just wanting to show, like, not embarrass himself. And I connected to that so much. So my goal at the skins match wasn't to win. It was almost like, I can't beat these guys. Come on, it's Calvin Heimberg, Simon Lozak, give me a break. Like, just go out there, just don't embarrass yourself. And then so to actually win was like, huh? What the hell just happened? It was very emotional. It meant a lot to me. But yeah, watch the documentary. It's all in the documentary. Riley, having issues with early release. Camp seemed to hold on to the disc long. Any suggestions? Yeah, early. So it has nothing to do with release. If you're, so Riley's left-handed. If you're throwing and missing to the right, it's not your release. It's the line you're drawing, and it's not planting your foot first. The biggest thing I can tell you, shoot a video of yourself. I'm going to predict when you shoot the video of yourself that you are going to see your hips and or your shoulders, either one, starting to rotate before your plant foot hits the ground. That's what's causing the disc to come out to the right. If that foot hits the ground before your shoulders and hips have started to rotate it, and your arm is on a line, then the disc won't come out to your right. But has nothing to do with releasing the disc. So my prediction is you're rotating your hips or your shoulders before the foot hits the ground. That's going to be the cause. You think George Carlin's too cynical with Bill Burr isn't already then? I think they're both equally cynical. I just don't think Bill Burr comes across surly. I mean, not surly, bitter. Scott, we would be good friends because I really like you. But I don't agree on everything you say for sure. Who the hell wants to be friends with someone that you agree with everything they say? Oh my God, that would be ridiculous. Like, I would not want to ever be around somebody that agreed with everything I say. That would be crazy. I'm not going to go political, so don't bring up any political topics, anybody. I won't address them. But there was a time when I was younger, and anybody listening will also remember this, where you didn't know who your best friend voted for. It was considered a right to keep that private. You had your next door neighbor. You'd get together and barbecue every day or every week or every month with your next door neighbor, and you'd watch their house when they're out of town, and they would pick up your newspaper. Like, you were like, you didn't know who they voted for, and it's not an exaggeration. Like, nobody gave a shit that people had different opinions about things. And one of the things I've noticed in the modern world is that all of a sudden everybody cares what opinions other people have. Like, that to me is the stupidest thing ever. I'm not saying that's you. I'm saying that's what people seem to do. They care. Oh, you voted for so and so. We're never going to get along. Like, what? What kind of nonsense is that? I have this opinion about this thing, and I disagree with you, so we're going to have a problem. It's like, Jesus Christ, that's not the way I think. So I'm glad we don't agree on everything. We will get along way better if we don't. If we Please don't agree with everything I say. Unless I make a compelling argument on something, then you agree with it. But that's only because I've convinced you. That's cool. I am not going to Worlds. I'm not going to Worlds or USDGC. Um, it's so People ask me about this, about like why I didn't go to Masters Worlds, because I was at PCS and Masters Worlds were in Flagstaff, Arizona, and everybody's like, I'm playing pretty damn good. Yeah, I'll probably have a pretty decent shot of doing well out there. Can't say I would win. I would never say that. That would be like, you cannot take away like from the person that went. The person that went won. They deserve to win. They're the champion. Period. End of discussion. They're the world champion. Doesn't matter who's there or not there. You beat the people that show up. You're the champ. So don't misunderstand what I'm saying. But many people said to me, "Hey, if you went, don't you think you could have done well out there?" And my feeling on that, I have two thoughts on that. The first is, to me, I played the PCS in Norway, which is a DGPT Elite Series event, and I finished 20th. To me, and this is just my opinion, finishing 20th at that tournament was a far bigger accomplishment than it would have been had I won MP50 Worlds. Because I think MP50 Worlds took 1,005 rating to win, took 1,035 to finish top 20 out there. To me, for me, that's a bigger deal, to finish 20th at a DGPT against the best in the world. And I think that feeling is why this is the second reason why I didn't go there, but this is also why I'm not at Worlds or USDGC, is I got all these different directions I'm pulled in and that I could do and compete in. And it's like, really, it's like, what makes my heart beat faster at this point? And when I thought about going to Masters Worlds, my heart rate didn't change. Just, it didn't move me. Nothing about it did anything. I didn't feel anything. When I thought about going to PCS, and I've been playing so well, and now all these players are coming out from America, from the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and like, hey, let me show you MFs how good I've been playing. Let me go win this thing. Let me go come over here to Norway and let me win this tournament. Show you what I can do. Like, that's what drove me. The fact that it didn't happen is not relevant. That's what excited me. The possibility of all these the best American players in the entire world coming over here, and me sending them all home as losers because I won. that's what got me excited. That's what got me putting when I didn't feel like putting. That's what got me working out when I didn't feel like working out. That's what made me eat the toppings off the pizza because I didn't eat the crust, feeling like an idiot because I wanted to eat the crust so bad, but I didn't because I'm training. That's what motivated me. So, long answer to your question, but when it's like, what about Worlds? When I think about going to Worlds, it doesn't, I don't even know when it is. But everything I'm doing out here is what makes my heart beat faster. So that's what I'm doing. And that doesn't mean next year that won't change. Next year, maybe I'll feel like going to Worlds. Maybe next year I'll get so excited about going to Worlds that you won't be able to keep me away. But not this year. Never minimize a championship. As an older guy told me once, if there's a chance you can be top 5, you need to go. That's the thing. To me, top 20 at PCS is a bigger accomplishment than winning MP50 Worlds. Like, the players that I beat at PCS were the best in the world. I didn't beat all of them. 19 of them beat me. But I beat them. And again, I'm not suggesting that you're wrong or anyone else is wrong for these different opinions. I'm just telling you what moves me. You know, I shot 1035 rated golf that weekend. That is what it takes to finish top 20 at one of those events. That to me is a bigger accomplishment for me. Doesn't have to be for anybody else. Am I going to do the Euro Tour next year? 100%. Absolutely. There's places I haven't been to out here and I want to go. You've been playing on and off for a few years, just can't figure out how to stop rounding. It's either unintentional hyzer or late release. What video did you suggest to watch? Number 1, watch my YouTube video on rounding. Promise you, it's the best video out there on rounding. I actually I'm pretty sure I made up the word. When I was the first person to travel around the country teaching clinics. Other people had taught disc golf, but I mean, I'm traveling nationally teaching clinics all over the country. I was making up words for all these things because I was teaching. I was the only one out there doing it. So I think I even made up the term. Watch my video, search for Scott Stokely Rounding. You'll find a video on it. And my 6-month online class, like, nobody leaves the class rounding. Like, I have a step-by-step process to throw correctly, for sure. The basket home state seem Cambodia in the house. Yeah, Cambodia, everybody. Hello, Cambodia in the house. I know. Jacob and, you remember his wife's name?
Oh, no, I remember the guys.
That's great. I asked HF if she remembered Jacob's wife's name. She's like, I remember all the guys. Yeah, Cambodia was the most unique disc golf experience in all of Southeast Asia during our Asian adventures. I loved Cambodia. I cannot wait to go back. I need to talk to you because I'm looking into doing these, possibly doing like a week-long training retreat, and in Asia this winter. And if I do this, Cambodia is very, 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 very high on my list of places where I would like to do it, or at least do it maybe like half in Cambodia, half in Siem Reap or something like that. Not Siem Reap, Chiang Mai. What is my favorite disc? It is the Berg. If you follow me for any amount of time, you'll know the Berg is the word. That's probably because I was never a good finesse player, and now I'm a great finesse player because of the Berg. Let's see. Hey, boss. What is the first most important thing you would improve to get from 300 to 400 feet? Okay, so I addressed this earlier, so forgive me if you've heard this before, because that is the most common question. There isn't one thing. You have to do everything. Every single thing. I can make a list of all these different things, and every single one of them, if you do everything except that one, this one will cost you 6 meters. This one will cost you 9 meters. This one will cost you 18 meters. This one will cost you 4 meters, or whatever amount. But every little thing you're doing diminishes your ability to perform well. And if you're not doing a lot of these things, you don't throw far at all. But even if you throw pretty far, if you're not throwing perfectly, you're still leaving distance on the table. You know, like I teach that I originally was teaching 6 main things you do, but 5 of them correlate to distance, primary things. If you do 4 of them, you're ripping a disc. But if you leave that 5th one out, you're still leaving distance on the table. This is why with my 6-month online class at scottstokely.net, I don't It's not about fixing problems. It's about a process, step by step, that gets everybody doing every single one of those things. When you put all the pieces together step by step, the way I teach it, and remember, unlimited number of form reviews, so you upload videos, you get feedback, which is critical to doing this, to learning how to do it. But when you do all this, you are not allowed to not do everything correctly. You don't move on to the next step when you're doing one of these things wrong. And every single thing that you might not be doing, I have fixes for, because this is what I do. So you can do all these things. Yeah, and I'm not trying to just turn your question into a sales pitch, and I'm not trying to dismiss your question, but there is not one thing. That's the biggest thing. Everybody's like, what's the one thing I can do to do this? Or what's the one thing to make my this? It's like, if there was one thing, then everybody would be shredding or throwing far. I mean, it's not one thing. You got to get everything. Tell me more about the Island Island course. I'm interested in going there maybe in the future. I heard it's disc golf paradise. So it's the only course I played. The all-in course is 10 holes in the mountains, 9 holes in the open. Basically, you got your challenging, beautiful mountain wooded course, unbelievable rock formations and fairways that are beautiful. And then you get to the open course, you got kind of more your USDGC ball golf course with tons of out of bounds, island holes, island greens. Not a lot of shot shaping, but you need to land in bounds or else you're going to be in trouble. In fact, one reason why I did so well, because I finished 5th place in MPO at the Island Open, was I had 1 out of bounds in 3 rounds, which is pretty crazy, like on a USDGC style course. It's not about the golf. Okay. The golf there is fantastic, but it's fantastic at PCS. It's fantastic at Skellefteå. It's fantastic in Stockholm. It's fantastic in Borås. It's fantastic at the look, Alle Disc Golf Center in Sweden is like, you could spend a week there and never get tired of playing. It's unbelievable. The thing about Alle that's special is that it's like, what it's an archipelago is 6,500 islands. Half of them have like one house on them. Like the ferry ride out to Allen Islands is like something out of a movie. And you're on this island that has like 16 courses on it. I've heard the one we played was the best one of all of them, but it's just a disc golf paradise, but it's just also a lifestyle paradise. I mean, everything out there is just gorgeous. Is that the only course on Island? Is there more of them? Oh, no. There's no. Island is, go look up Island Disc Golf. This is the whole thing about Island. In the last 2 years, they put in 16 courses in 2 years. And I do not believe they're stopping. They're making it this epicenter disc golf destination, this global disc golf destination with disc golf on all. I think the end goal is going to be you go island hopping, and on every single island there's going to be a disc golf course to play, and then probably disc golf tours. And they're making disc golf as a huge part of their tourism efforts. All right, so I think we're going to have to wrap it up here in just a minute, because I have a doctor's appointment at 8 a.m. and it's 11. I didn't even notice how late it was getting. So no more questions, but I'll wrap up the questions we have real quick. Nice hat, Scott. I was surprised at how hard the scores were at Alle White for the Swedish Open. How low? What do you think about its difficulty? That course is really, 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 really hard. I would like it harder because I personally like, and I didn't see the scores, and I don't even know the weather conditions out there or anything. It's a beautiful, amazingly beautiful course. My personal taste is always like, I want it to be like, I want players, like, I want to have an anxiety attack on every single hole, where you step up and you're like, Jesus Christ, how am I going to get through this hole? I like courses, and I got this from Bradley Williams, talking about Northwoods Black. He says he loves Northwoods Black because every single time you get a par, you get a dopamine hit. And birdies, you're like, what? Birdie? How the hell did that happen? That's what I like. So I like it when a par on a hole is really, really good. And I mean, for a top pro, they're happy with a par. I never want to see, if a course never has better than 5-6 undershot on it on the pro tour, I would love that personally. But that's what type of golf I like. I like really, really, really hard, stressful anxiety attack. Like the dopamine hit only comes after the cortisol burst. It's on the D-pad when you're trying to figure out if you're going to double bogey. Any pointers on throwing, having a very bad left knee, or throwing on a weak or slow legs? Yeah, not without seeing you throw. That's the online class, when you're uploading videos, we can actually look at stuff, but without seeing, I don't know. I will tell you this, is that your footwork is something that should be more natural, less intentional. However, you're stepping to protect your injuries. You have a bad left knee, you can't just step any way you want to. So, and the way I teach my class, you're not going to be told to step a specific way, or with a specific timing, with weight transfer and bracing and all that nonsense, right? That's not the way I teach. You have to figure out how your legs work naturally. But when it comes to injuries, you have no choice but to plant in a way that protects that injury. You don't have the option of just stepping any way you want to. So I can't really give advice on that. My biggest advice is, if you have injuries, your body first has to work in a way that protects those injuries, and then the rest of your form has to work around that. It doesn't go the other way around. You don't develop the right form and then try to make your knee go the way you want it to go. It goes injury first, and then everything else has to work around that. But that's the way I teach. I teach that you must do certain things, but you have flexibility in your timing and your cadence and your mechanics. There are flexible areas of the method that I teach that allow for your body to move individually based on your body type, or in this case, injuries. But yeah, start with protecting those injuries and not re-injuring yourself, and then everything else works around that, not the other way around. What's my experience like in Borås, Sweden? The course you played the wheelchair round in is just down the street from where I live. I love Borås. I was so sad because I was getting over this blood infection that I got in Krokol. I mean, I was very, very, very sick in Krokol, like on death's door, hallucinating, cold sweats. I keep saying it was 2 days, but I was told it was 3. But since I was hallucinating, I mean, I'm not exaggerating. I was coming
It was 3.
It was 3 days. Yeah, I was basically in and out of consciousness, right?
Yeah.
I was fading. It was bad. But the next 6 days after that, I was feeling better, but I was still dizzy. My balance was off. No chance of playing. So I had a great time in Borås. I can't wait to go back when I'm not sick. And that wheelchair round was great. I had a lot of fun. According to John Feinstein's book, A Good Walk Spoiled, it was Mark Twain who said, golf is a good walk spoiled. Okay, so I could go with Mark Twain on that one. Yep, that it. All right, everybody. I'm going to have to wrap it up. I've got a doctor's appointment in 8.5 hours, and then I got 2 appointments, and I got to get on a ferry, and it's going to take me an hour to shave because I haven't shaved, and I'm all.
And you have a clinic.
Oh, and I have a clinic after I get off the ferry in Estonia. Yeah, I'm not. None of this is complaining, but I work harder than people think, for sure. Final pitch, my 6-month class. It is my pride and joy with how I teach disc golf at scottstokely.net. You cannot you cannot leave the class not being far better at disc golf. And it's also fun, and it's $50 a month. It's not even stupidly expensive. You could pay it all at once, but it's not super expensive. Live classes with with professional form reviews, unlimited. Please, if you're serious about disc golf, I encourage you to check this out. You're not gonna take the class and be like, "Oh, it didn't help." Like that, I can guarantee you. So I love all of you. I was only going to get on for an hour, but I was having so much fun I couldn't leave. So hope everybody enjoyed, and wish me luck in Estonia. Thanks, everyone.